The Marvel Cinematic Universe has done an effective job building a vast timeline filled with notable events across different periods. While films or comics have helped fill in the blanks on some possibilities haven't been explored. Welcome to POPZEE, where you can find all the cinematic details you need. In this video, we will be discussing Hawkeye and Black Widow and what happened in Budapest. But before that, make sure to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on post notifications. Make sure to stay till the end to know our take on your favorite movies. The trailer for The Black Widow was released in December 2019. And fans hope that this movie would finally address what happened in Budapest. We don't know much about Hawkeye's and Black Widow's past from the previous MCU movies. The characters did not get much attention in the MCU compared to the likes of Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and even the Green Monster, the Hulk. For those of you who don't know, Natasha Romanoff is a fictional character portrayed by Scarlett Johanssen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe MCU film franchise, based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name, sometimes known by her alter ego, Black Widow. Romanoff is a spy and an expert hand-to-hand combatant, trained in the Red Room from childhood. She eventually becomes part of the counterterrorism agency SHIELD, Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement and Logistics Division, through which the character was introduced to the franchise in Iron Man 2, and then of the Avengers, defending her teammates and the Earth against various threats. Clinton Francis Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye, is a skilled marksman, a former special agent of SHIELD, and one of the founding members of the Avengers, known for his use of the bow and arrow as his primary weapon. Barton had become one of SHIELD's best agents, responsible for the recruitment of Black Widow, with whom he developed a strong friendship. One of the most significant moments in MCU history, which the fans really want to know more about, is the backstory behind Black Widow and Hawkeye's mission in Budapest. Both figures had deep comic book roots that tied them together, but they also shared a fascinating history together. In addition to being close friends, Clint was the one who convinced Nat to become a SHIELD, an agent following her tragic past connected to Russia's Black Widow program. Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, was close friends with Jeremy Renner as Clinton Barton, Hawkeye. The two characters' emotional relationship was developed well throughout several Marvel Cinematic Universe MCU films. However, there have always been questions on what happened with the duo in Budapest, ever since it was teased in the Avengers 2012. Now, Johansson confirmed that it would be revealed in her upcoming Marvel movie. During the Battle of New York in the Avengers, Natasha Romanoff and Clinton Barton get in a small chat. Romanoff says that killing aliens with Barton reminds her of their old time in Budapest. Barton replies that she and he remembered Budapest very differently. The statement grabbed much attention, but no further details were revealed ahead in the MCU. Scarlett Johansson confirmed that the forthcoming film would disclose the incident. She said that they all agreed that they had to find out what happened in Budapest. She mentioned that it started out as the throwaway line which Joss Whedon threw into Marvel's The Avengers as a funny moment between Hawkeye and Black Widow. The actor stated that Clint and Natasha talked about their history, and viewers get a fun little Easter egg to theorize about. She asserted that they thought that if they don't go back to Budapest and find out what really happened there, people will feel unsatisfied. Moreover, she herself wondered what actually happened there. Scarlett Johansson said that they often talked about what is going on in Natasha Romanoff's head. She really thinks that Natasha is haunted by the fact that she has this past that she feels so guilty about. Unfinished business is that sense of guilt that follows her around, which all stems from what happened in Budapest. Johansson stated that Black Widow is not all about what happened in Budapest, but it is a gigantic jumping-off point for them to understand the heaviness of Natasha's burden. The Black Widow trailers have encouraged some fans to contemplate whether both Black Widow and Hawkeye previously fought against Taskmaster in Budapest. We know that the villain's power is being able to copy and mimic what he sees. In the trailers, we quickly learn that he's a pro when it comes to the bow, which we feel he may have learned from watching Hawkeye. Here are the most discussed theories about what could have happened in Budapest. Number 1. Black Widow and Hawkeye fought Taskmaster in Budapest. One of the most popular theories surrounding the city's events suggests that Natasha and Clint were in Budapest when they first fought Taskmaster. The mysterious villain is said to portray the primary antagonist of Black Widow, but it's suggested that he's had run-ins with the titular character far before this film. Since Nat claims, we have to go back to where it all started. It can't be a coincidence that a significant portion of the upcoming movie takes place in the Hungarian city. With Budapest's setting, the presence of Taskmaster could easily be connected to the SHIELD, the operation that Nat and Clint were sent on well before we were introduced to the MCU with events of Avengers. The brief glimpse of Taskmaster in the Black Widow trailers provides more evidence to this particular theory. Not only does the villain have the skills to go toe-to-toe with the expert assassin, Black Widow, but he also shares archery skills like Hawkeye. The Marvel Comics villain was always known for his photographic memory, allowing him to mimic anything he witnesses, whether it's combat or weaponry skills. Taskmaster would have been able to replicate Black Widow and Hawkeye's actions if he previously encountered them. Well, this theory is very plausible. It might require Clint's appearance, at least in a flashback capacity, to altogether tie up loose ends to the mystery of Budapest. Number 2. Black Widow did something awful in Budapest. Another compelling theory suggests Black Widow and Hawkeye failed in the Budapest mission, getting innocent people killed in the process. Shortly before Natasha claimed that the Battle of New York was just like Budapest all over again. Clint was shown helping innocent citizens escape from a bus. Nat's comparison was pointing at their face-off with the overwhelming Chitauri army. Still, it might have been a reference to the entire chain of events, including Hungarian citizens' protection. It seemed like Nat and Clint had a handle on the alien enemies in New York. But considering Hawkeye claimed that he remembered Budapest differently, that might not have been the case with her Budapest mission. Nat's revelation that she has read in her ledger has been a lingering statement in the MCU. During her arc, the character always seemed like she had to make up for something. Alexander Pierce even threatened to reveal the truth about Black Widow's time in Budapest during a sequence in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Whatever happened there, it seemed negative, insinuating that the truth had to stay hidden. A failed mission that led to innocent casualties would undoubtedly be something that continued to haunt Nat. Or maybe the Budapest mission was when Clint was sent to kill Black Widow before she was brought on as a SHIELD agent. She may have done something terrible for the Russians before Clint took her under his wing. This could explain why she felt the need to sacrifice herself to get the Soul Stone of Voyamer in Avengers Endgame. Number 3. Nick Fury sent Black Widow and Hawkeye to stop an ongoing threat in Budapest. While most Budapest mentions came from Natasha or Clint, that wasn't always the case in the MCU. In Captain Marvel, Nick Fury referenced the city when he was chatting with Carol Danvers in a rural bar. As he spoke about his past with the CIA, Fury told Carol that he was sent to various locations during the Cold War, including Belgrade, Belfast, Bucharest, and Budapest. This could have been a brilliant connection to add more to the mystery surrounding Hungary in the MCU. But it may have added a new layer to Nat and Clint's secret SHIELD mission. Fury wasn't a SHIELD agent when he participated in an operation in Budapest, but he was the director when Nat and Clint were sent on their mission. It was a known fact that Hydra orchestrated much of the actions of the Soviets during the Cold War. If the relations with the former Soviet Union weren't up to SHIELD's liking, the organization might have sent 2 of their best agents to thwart a threat. Hungary, of course, was once under the Soviets' control during the Cold War. Since Nat has a clear connection to the Soviets and Russia, she could have attempted to placate some tensions between the nations. While it's certainly possible that it had something to do with Fury's past, there's also a chance that Nat and Clint were sent to Budapest to cover up for something their director did in the city of Budapest, so it didn't lead back to SHIELD's entire organization. Since the release of the Avengers, audiences have been calling out for a film that explores more into the Hawkeye and Black Widow's Budapest mission. Considering what we know now, it would be great to see them dive back into the past, reunite and fight side by side once again. Of course, Budapest is a crucial location in the film, and the importance of its reference throughout the MCU suggests it's where the pair first teamed up. It's certainly likely, and perhaps the film will finally give us the answers. And that's basically it, folks. Do hit the subscribe button for more content like this one. And don't forget to smash that like button. Click the bell button to get notified about our future uploads. And don't forget to follow us on social media at POPZEE.tv. See you all in the next one.